Oh yeah. Hello everyone. We are kind of getting into arranged spaces here, if you couldn't tell. And now we're fuzzy, because fuzzy is interesting. Here, let's try that. 1, 2, 7. Hey! Yes? Sort of? Maybe?
Yeah, it's fine.
Side flip? I don't know. Here, I'm gonna... I can hear in the office now.
Wow.
Wow. Guys, if you couldn't tell, this is a different kind of stream. I also didn't mention that you were on here, so that's my bad. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh no. The Canadian equestrian. This is what happens when we have Tom join one of my streams.
I just shouldn't join anymore.
You should always join. You're an amazing human being. You're a legend in Canada and now in Wales. Like, you're a household name. I really don't know what else to say on that. So I apologize. And see, Solomon thought that was good. He laughed.
It's Solomon. He'll laugh at anything you say.
It's true. By the way, good morning, Solomon.
Hi.
Or in your case, afternoon-ish. Yeah, 7 hours. Yes. So you're a little ahead.
No, nighttime. No.
Do your math.
We're not on 12
Do your
yet.
math.
We're not 12 yet. Yeah.
Do your math.
Shut up.
I appreciate you as a human being. It's afternoon. Good to see you. Yeah. So Tom is like on
Half
reading
awake.
week, and he's half awake.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing a lot of gaming. And so Tom was like, "Hey man, do you want me to do a stream today?" I'm like, "Heck yes." And then I'm like, "Wait, hold on a second. You could do 2 streams because Nerds in the Word. He's like one of the original Nerds in the Word that technically started that up on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just kind of makes sense that you would be the Nerd in the Word for today.
Yeah. I'm trying to get some sleep.
He's trying to get some sleep.
It's
Yeah,
in
we're not Excuse me? What are you trying to say here, okay? Like,
Also
I
played-
didn't threaten and pushed and
I also
do...
played like a 10-hour video game 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's also... Well, you got to play that with Jedi and...
At UN, Speedo,
Yes. Man.
Hobo.
The Hobo, the Gobbo. Well, yes. He's working on the sleep part. So,
Yeah, I
we're
got like
doing some progress.
4 hours last night.
Oh, man, it's a rough reading week, man.
Not really.
Real rough. Real rough, Doing a lot of hard studying, couldn't you tell? No, I'm sorry.
I do have to
that
start
was aggressive.
studying though.
You
I
should.
have a midterm on Monday.
Yo, that's kind of an important thing for you to kind of work out
Hey, it's
on.
open book, so.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, okay. That's understandable.
Thank you.
Thank you for understanding my pain, but also suck it up.
Just start.
Okay, yes. Hello. Now he said good luck, so...
I did
Oh,
that,
okay,
so
that was
thank
you.
That's why
See,
I
this
said
is-
thank you.
This is why he watches the stream. I'm just a guy that just keeps going. So,
This is why I have you for when I stream.
that's also fair, because moderators help.
And also having someone who talks sometimes.
That's also true, because dead space is dead space, and it's annoying. All right. Well, those of you who are like, man, let's get cracking at this Bible study goodness, Nerds in the Word. Grab your digital Bibles, your physical Bibles.
Or your Bible.
I don't... Like, you could go through my backpack and get
No,
the
I'm good.
Demon Slayer 5000, but,
No, I'm good.
he's good.
I'm good.
Guys, he's good. And yes, those of you who are watching on the stream or join in our Discord, because then you get more of this awesome guy.
That's not good then.
Wow. I am sorry, guys. I'm trying to help out, and he keeps on.
I just woke up. I'm in a mood.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I'm just gonna bring this closer because apparently you're not talking loud enough.
I'm not.
I'm talking.
Do I need to go like this loud? How's
Well,
this?
that's a little too loud. Like,
Did I break your ears,
Be in like just the edge of the green and into the yellow, and then we're okay.
Sir.
Sorry. Trying to help you guys hear over the music while also enjoying this because we have beautiful backdrop music. Leave me alone. This is my comfy space, and you're just like professional streamer, 100%.
Totally.
Like
Totally. Whatever you say.
Technically, you are right because I am the one who's getting paid to do this. I just have to fundraise for my job to make it.
Hold on a second.
It's not like I'm just like all of a sudden tons of money, but you know. Anywho,
Twitch being set up soon to get
very soon
bits and some subs.
Yeah, some subs, and not from Subway like Garrett. Anywho, that was a good
Just
joke.
start.
Okay, thank you. We are sitting on Psalm chapter 15. So reminder from yesterday. Not yesterday. Sorry, it was Tuesday. Yesterday was staff meeting. Please forgive my ignorance. We've been talking throughout the past few chapters on like what is wickedness and like who are the wicked, what are they like. Often attributes are like they mock at God, they cause a lot of problems for other people, they are pretty corrupt, they oppress people, they beat down the hopeless, and God's like, no, like that. Bad person. And what we've been also noticing is that God has certain times where he responds, and he is the one who will jump in and be like, no, like this is where the line done, you get ended. Which is kind of a fair thing to be considerate of, because it can feel like God's not there. Mm-hmm. And so like, where's that line where God actually shows up, or we feel like, okay, like this is a thing that we can rely on? Because that's another part of the segment is like God's faithfulness, because in the midst of life sucking, it can feel like, God, you just kind of bailed out on me. And you okay, you want to share with the class on
Isn't this
on
just
that
your life?
Clearly, he was listening during the Ecclesiastes series that we finished up on, and early Psalm stuff. Yes, I get the psalmist. We've talked about this all throughout our streams. I relate. Jeepers. Invite a guy into a stream and he'll make fun of you all the time.
No, I wasn't making fun of you. Just telling
He's
you.
pointing out the fact. Yeah. So, okay. So we're diving into this chapter, which, by the way, is only 5 verses. Really not going to be like heavy. Well, actually, you know what? It is heavy. It's good. It's got some good things to weigh on. And if you guys could tell by the title, prepping to meet with God in his presence. So like meeting with him. Like we have to do prep work. Like this is kind of weird, right? And we'll kind of elaborate a little bit more on that and how you can see that throughout the Bible. But what is he looking for? What's the attributes that he's developing in here, and what he's processing? You know, what are we supposed to be doing? What is it supposed to look like? So, enough of me pre-elaborating. Let's just get in, chew on the meat, and work it out.
Meat's right there.
Meat's right. Yeah,
I was pointing there. But...
Oh, hey. Get picked on. Guys on podcast, he pointed at my stomach, and I don't know how I feel about it. Let me cry a little bit. Okay. Psalm 15. Who may worship in your sanctuary, Lord? Who may enter your presence on your holy hill? Those who lead blameless lives and do what is right, speaking the truth from sincere hearts. I really like that one. That's why it's going to get green. Those who refuse to gossip or harm their neighbors or speak evil of their friends. Those who despise flagrant sinners and honor the faithful followers of the Lord and keep their promises even when it hurts. Those who lend money without charging interest and who cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent. Such people will stand firm forever. Yo, there's like a lot to unpack off of that, like, cause he likes that last verse. Oh, ooh, wisdom. Okay. I like it. No, it's good. It's good. All right. So obviously, our psalmist starts off with a pretty fair question to ask, right? Because throughout at least the earlier parts of the Torah, you go near God's presence, it's a big no-no.
Oh, you die.
Yeah, see, right, you die. Like there's an issue of longevity of life when it comes to being in God's presence, right? Like here's Moses who does like the burning bush thing, and you find out, oh, by the way, God's in that burning bush. You're like, pardon?
Well, if he didn't take off his
Excuse me?
sandals, I think he would have died.
Right, because like he had to honor the holy ground. It was like all like that kind of state, or the very idea of the pillar of fire. Okay, let's sit on that even, because again, these are two times where it's the angel of the Lord. So maybe not God's exact presence, but God's representation, which, by the way, I think is Jesus in both cases. I really think Jesus was in the burning bush. I think Jesus was the pillar of fire and smoke in the desert who was walking around with them. This is why, like, Jesus can, by all means, have the authority to go, psh, kids, you don't know what you're talking about. I was there. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. But even that, the sheer power or, like, intensity is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of nuts. And even going to then setting up the tabernacle, right? Like, priests would have to wear a special rope that had bells always jingling as you were walking to make sure you were alive. Because as soon as you kind of stop hearing the jingle jangle, he's going to be dangling, as in dead. Like, you pull him from the rope and he dangling. Okay, maybe that rhyme didn't work.
No.
I apologize to everyone on that one. I thought that was humorous and it didn't work. But, like, legitimately, God's presence is, like, a thing to prep for. It's not just something you can kind of go nonchalantly. Like, you couldn't just go to God in your PJs.
Moses could have.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
Elaborate on that one.
In the burning bush, Moses is a shepherd. Who cares what he wears?
Okay.
He could have been in his pajamas.
Like, I mean,
And it was
typically
earlier in the
shepherds
morning.
don't want to wear their pajamas because they're going to be in, like, dirty stuff and things.
Hey,
Sheep are dirty,
you
man.
never know.
I feel like, yeah.
I'm just saying, it could have happened. Moses didn't prepare. He just happened to find a burning bush.
Fair enough. And then he also became a light bright, essentially, after every time meeting with God, to the point people were like, yo, put on, like, a cover, dude. Like, settle down. That's fair. Shepherd's pie.
You're making me hungry.
See?
And
See,
I
this is
haven't
the thing.
had breakfast. So
He hasn't
stop
had
it.
breakfast. Pray for Tom. He's got to survive for electrolytes and stuff like that. You have coffee.
I have been. You haven't.
I have been. Okay, yes, sorry. I need to have coffee. But again, so, like, who may worship in the sanctuary of the Lord? So this isn't even, like, outside, like, this isn't even in the Holy of Holies. This is just, like, entering into what would be kind of, like, called the holy place. So, if you guys don't know that distinction, the Holy of Holies was, like, the literal presence of God meeting and would be hovering over the Ark of the Covenant, and they, even in Solomon's Temple, which at this point David wouldn't know. He would have had plans for the ideas of what it should look like, but it hasn't been made yet. Mm-hmm. But would have cherubim, ginormous ones, as well as the cherubim that were sitting on top of the Ark of the Covenant. There we go. Brain's working. But he's literally hovering in that space. And so, like, that's kind of nuts to have that. But on just the outside is the holy place. And this is where actually only priests were still only able to be in there. So to have David even bring that up is kind of like, David, you a little confused, man? Like, we're not supposed to be in there. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
David shouldn't be in there. Imagine.
No, okay, no, but that's fair. Do you think maybe it's an anticipation for him on that one?
Probably.
Okay, like he wants to be there. He wants to be with God so close that as much as he
I
could.
think a lot of people want to be there.
Fair point. Fair point. Okay, so I'll ask this: do you feel like we do that properly for church on Sundays?
Oh gosh.
No, but I want to ask because
Yeah,
that is legitimately a question to be brought out of this. Do we do that on Sundays?
Want to be there, or
Yeah, like so hungry for God that we want to be there.
I find it can be.
It can be. Okay,
Not
good.
all the time, but it can be.
And that's thank you. Okay, that's what I was hoping you were gonna say, because that's where I'll be real, guys. Sundays. Oh man, now I'm gonna get real vulnerable. Sundays I like sleep. Okay, And Mike does not get a whole ton of sleep during the week. And so, like, Saturdays is potentially a sleeping day. Depends on how Coach is feeling. And if she wants sleep and all that. Sundays, I'm kind of like, I kind of want sleep, man.
I may
like,
have done
I have to get up
a few times.
Right? And, like, how silly is that? That I'm like, dude, I'd like sleep more than hanging out with God. It's like, but...
I'll be like, oh, I'll just turn the stream on my phone and just listen to it while I'm laying there.
Right. And not that you can't worship at home. So I'm not discrediting that, but there is that vibe, right? This is the idea that we are meeting in a spot that is designed to engage the presence of God. And that is what the church is. It's a spot for Christians to unite together, to be able to have our focus on God and to be refreshed and then encouraged and then pushed out to have mission, right? And that's even where I think we sometimes look at the sanctuary in a wrong light, right? Because it's Eden 2.0, really, or Eden Light is a better way to maybe put it. Because it's centralized, it was experiencing God's presence in a location, it was mimicking it, but then again, you had to go out still into the world. It was your little bit of like, oh, wow, oh yeah, I got, things are not like this right now.
I have to go places.
Yeah, or shoot, I do need to do something. I need to go out and do this. Sadly, you don't see that.
I had to wake up. I couldn't sleep in today.
Right. But, like, here David is just like, who may worship in your sanctuary, Lord? Like, honest evaluation. Who's even able to do this?
Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. 100%. Not wrong. Good Sunday school answer, but also Sunday school answer. So, like, that's a sticker we need to have.
No one's perfect.
Sunday school answer.
No one was perfect.
It's true.
So, technically, no one should have been allowed.
Well, no. This is where ceremonially they had to do things and had to be prepared.
Ceremonially.
Well, especially the high priest.
Yeah.
He had to make sure he was all right and all clean and all this kind of stuff like that just to even enter. Because even if he screwed up on that, whoosh, dead, awkward, and then pull him out by rope. Mm-hmm. Sad story. Who may enter your presence in the holy hill? Okay, so now we're even just talking about... We went from internalized to sanctuary to now... onto the very edge. Like, who can even enter really the footsteps of your temple grounds? Who can even come, like, in the farthest proximity toward you? It's almost like level of containment, right? Like, one's almost to the epicenter. The other one's, like, just the fringe. Mm-hmm. Who's worthy of that?
Once again, I would say no one.
Once again, no one.
We only became able to because of Jesus.
100%. But this is before Jesus shows up.
Yeah.
So then who's able to do that?
I would still say no one, but I know people have.
And this is where Deuteronomy and Levitical laws are very clear on how the Levites, the priests, had to conduct themselves, how they had to dress, how they had to work things together. But then also our conduct toward each other. And that was a major factor. And this is a thing I appreciate each month when we're doing communion. We bring up every time. If you got something wrong with your brother or your sister, and you haven't dealt with that before you took communion, you need to deal with it, because you're actually swallowing condemnation or curses on you. It's like, oh shoot. Like, presence of God actually...
Sorry, I love you, Mike.
Yeah, I love you! But, like, it's a thing to chew on, though. Yeah. Like, the presence of God and, like, how we prepare for it. I think we kind of take it too lightly these days. Mm-hmm. I think we kind of just, like, come as you are to God, knowing that you are in need of a savior. 100%. I don't disagree with that. But our conduct toward each other and how we respond, and we're going to find out here, right? Like, this is... We're going to look at these next 4 verses. What are the things that we're looking for? So, verse 2. Those who lead blameless lives and do what is right, speaking the truth from sincere hearts. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, first line, I'm done. I
think everyone's done.
Blameless lives and do what is right.
As what I've been saying the whole time.
You're right.
Jesus.
You're like...
No one else.
See, Tom really is the teacher here. I just take his notes and, like, then I talk about it later. It's really...
I find it, like, no one has lived blameless lives.
Right.
Even if they say... And if they say they have, then that's not sincere from the heart.
Right. Well, and even doing what's right, like, you need to remember, what's that standard? Who's that standard? And it's got to be God. But then the hard thing is, when we read the laws, we get into lawyer vibes, right? Like,
Then we have a natural example from how Jesus lived.
That's right. And that's the hardcore thing that we got to lean on. And so then, speaking truth from sincere hearts, I appreciate how Jesus was the one who really brought out the idea, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yeah. And I've been caught on that at different levels, where it's just like, oh shoot, like that came out. Oh yeah, I kind of did. And it's kind of like a revealing thing, stuff like that. It's a good word to chew on. Okay, so far nobody. Awkward. Those who refuse to gossip or harm their neighbors or speak evil of their friends. Yo. So far a lot of trash talk right now, like speaking truths from sincere hearts. So we went from blameless lives and do what's right, and speaking from sincere hearts. So positive traits to then comparison of those who refuse gossip.
But also these ones are connected to that.
They are. So it's like taking from the outskirts of, like, you may feel like you're
and then
okay.
You start going.
That's right. Or, well, broader spectrum. Like, we may go, I don't really have a whole lot of bad things.
And then you
like,
start getting,
I do good things. Like,
on how...
Well, do you gossip?
Yeah. I think everyone has.
But did you hear what Jenny said on the other?
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
I think everyone has.
Everyone has. Yeah.
I think everyone has not harmed their neighbors, but harmed friendships fair. And
speak evil to their friends. Yeah. Yo, there are some days where you can trash.
They could also harm not neighbors, but people they just met.
Solomon.
What do you say?
Gossiping is very fun. Oh no, Solomon.
Is it good gossip or bad gossip?
Shame.
Because there is a difference.
No, that
you're gossiping about how someone's about to get a job, and it's good for them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
As I said, there's...
Is that really gossip, though? That's just encouragement.
No.
Like...
Well, no. When you're not talking to the person, you're talking to other people. That's gossip. In a way.
Yeah. Ask me no questions, and I'll tell you no lies.
Have you been listening to us?
I don't know what to say right now. Like... Solomon...
Ask me no questions. So if we ask him no questions, he can't lie.
Okay, we're gonna move forward because like we went from out the ridge, okay, like whatever, to then it's like, oh yeah, maybe there's some things that I could have some issue. Those who despise flagrant sinners, and honor the faith. Okay, well, okay. Okay, that is an actual nerve because that's good. So we're gonna come back to that one, and honor the faithful followers of the Lord, and keep their promises even when it hurts. Okay. So first, despise flagrant sinners. Okay, flagrant, like people that just outright know God and just are like, screw you kind of things. That's understandable to be like, really? Like, really?
Yeah, but are they the ones who are supposed to be judging?
No.
Depends how they judge.
I think there's a level of how we react to it, right? So, yes, I agree on...
You're supposed to judge from the fruit, but not a lot of people do.
Well, and that is fruit in itself. Yeah. By them, like, hard pushing and just going, like, I hate God and stuff like that. Like, I get that. And you can be like, that's not the best. And we've done that, actually, in the past, in talking about, what are the things of the wicked and how they respond, how they treat other people. You can go, dude, that's not right. Like, that's just wrong. That, like, you are outright looking for corruption. You are greedy. You are stuff like that. There are things where you can call out evil. But I agree, if they don't know Jesus, that's one thing, right? But this sounds like flagrant sinners. They know something. Yeah. It's kind of like,
Also, through this verse, it says despise. We're not supposed to despise or hate anyone.
No, that's fair.
We should always try to love on and help.
It's true.
Because it's saying that we are despising the person.
Okay.
When we shouldn't.
Okay, so hold on. There's a pivot, though, that we have. Like, we have a shift, right? Those who despise flagrant sinners and honor the faithful followers of the Lord. So despise the bad, but honor the good. So there's a point where it's kind of like, that's wrong. Hey, look at this thing that's right.
Yeah.
So it's a pivot point. So you can despise the bad that's going on.
Yeah, you can despise what they're doing, but don't despise the person.
Right. And this is where Jesus throws down the love your enemies, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we can typically do. And we've talked about this in our like Bible studies on Thursdays.
Yeah.
On really the thing is, we love on people who still who are sinning and don't know Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And we give grace to them. But if you're following Jesus, you kind of need a knock on the head.
Yeah,
like
you judge them by the fruit.
Yeah, you judge them by the fruit.
Judge in your own way. You judge
but again, it depends on the kind of tree that they
Yes.
are, right? Because again, this is where Jesus threw down. You can't be like an apple tree and then bear oranges.
This is where I find if you're gonna judge someone, always get the Bible involved so you have God with you through.
Well, and that's where you need common language, common ground. You're trying to read that too.
So I can despise the French way of life.
Oh no.
Solomon!
Okay, so just to give clarity, as you trailed off near the end, Solomon put down, so I can despise the French way of life, but not the French people.
Just Quebec.
I'm joking. Wow!
I'm joking. It is a joke in Canada.
I would like to formally apologize for all our Quebec listeners, as well as those who may be
Grandma.
listening in France.
I'm sorry, Grandma.
Graphic Word does not represent these ideas. We love all people.
Quebec.
Oh my word!
I'm sorry. It's a joke in Canada.
Oh my word!
Uh,
Don't mind us. We're just gonna get kicked off very soon.
I also
But can we just say honor the faithful followers of the Lord? So legitimately
support them.
Well, yeah. So it can look like support. It can look like an encouragement, because I think that's a thing that we don't know how to also do. We kind of just you just keep trucking on, you just follow Jesus, or we don't even talk to each other.
Also, honor faithful followers. I find that more listen to what people have gone through and find their story and how they became the way they are through Christ.
Okay. So being able to take in the wisdom that they have.
Because if you honor someone, you want to follow them, you want to know them, you want to know how they became this way, you want to learn more.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. All right. Well, and yeah, there's someone doing due diligence, right? And this is where I appreciate the follow-up line of, and keep their promises even when it hurts, right? Faithfulness means you're sticking through things even when it sucks. Wow, I get all the looks here, guys.
There are a lot of things me and Mike talk about, and he tells me, and I'm like,
sounds familiar. Thank you. But no, but that's good character. That's faithfulness. That's honestly sticking to the goal, and that's a characteristic of the faithful, right? They keep their promises even when it hurts. Because a person who's not faithful could be like, yeah, dude, could we not do that? That kind of hurts. It's but if I made that promise, I gotta stick.
I'm gonna say this.
Throw it down.
This is completely not real, totally made up.
So he says.
You better hope it's made up, because this is about you and your wife.
Oh, I'm so scared, actually.
Say you told me and you made a promise to always make sure you were faithful and never strayed. And if you were unfaithful,
you best call me out.
The promise was to call you out.
Yep.
And to not leave your wife out of it.
Yep.
I would do it in a heartbeat, even if it hurt you.
Yep. No, that's important.
And our friendship.
No, that's fair. And you don't have to worry about that, guys.
Don't.
Coach, you listening? It's not a case.
He loves you.
And so, because, it's not... See, good lad. We got approval from Wales.
All my friends I know, even Isaac, who's my brother now.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if one of you ever
does something
unfaithful or does something stupid, I don't care. If it wasn't right, I'm going to make sure you get it right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You fix this crap.
We're going to have problems.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. And this is why 3 a.m. guys, they're important. But it's important because if you create a community that encourages, rewards, and fosters that, like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
That's just going to foster better things for me and
it's going to
Tom
strengthen
here.
Your relationships with people.
Right. Well, it's going to foster things with me and Tom that, like, if he's willing to call me out, then, dude, I better, like, do the same. I better go, like, hey, man, like, these are things that you need to be working out in your relationships. Or, like, hey, man, like, that's a characteristic you should watch out for. Yeah. And that's the thing that I've appreciated in mentoring relationships. Like, All Might legitimately helps me out on that. Being able to hear out where he's coming from. Because it's always good to have an outside advantage. Because, the self-talk can be brutal, but then also, you kind of get lost in your own space. And just like, yes, I know. I know.
You were just
what do you think most Devo
you were just letting me go.
What do you think these Devo streams are primarily? They're like, Mike, hello. Did you read that? You heard that.
I think it's for everyone, not just you.
Well, and it is.
Because there are a lot of people that also go through their own problems and don't like to say.
It's true. And this is why I'm so thankful for community of peeps that join in and hear this. And so thank you all for keeping on listening. While Mike works out his own coaching sessions on himself. Weird thing. Anywho, we're going to continue on to the last verse. And you highlighted this one. Specifically, you highlighted this one. Those who lend money without charging interest, and who cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent. Such people will stand firm forever. Okay, I want to know why you highlighted this one.
Because I find nowadays, with everything being about money and costs and all that stuff, the people who can just lend you money without having to be like, oh, make sure you pay me back, and if you take too long, pay me with this extra. Like, people who are like don't ask to be paid back are always the people that will stay the closest to you. The people who want you to pay you back or want to add interest,
yeah,
it's a thing that people need to learn.
Well, it's hard because, like, there are some things, yeah, like, if you know you're going through a tight time, you might want that money back or need that money back.
Yeah.
But I also get the flip side on, like, if you feel like God's put it in your heart to give this, you need to also just give it and trust that God's got your back for the other part. And, like, you guys have heard the tithing thing for the church thing where we had our last $50 and that was supposed to go toward groceries. And legitimately, after giving that it was a church development campaign. It was for a new church building. Like, you'd think, really? Like, is that... But we felt like we were supposed to do that. We honestly felt pressured by it to do it. Not in a bad way, but just like, we had to deal with this. And when we did that, literally Coach goes to check our church mailbox. This was back when we were at Trenton Wesleyan. And there is almost $500 worth of grocery cards and, like, stuff for our car. And it was just like, what?
Right.
Like, what?
We'll be back in a second. You talk about what you think of the verse.
He's just bailing out. That's what's going on.
I have to go there.
Oh, okay. You go there. Now we're gonna get really nitty gritty and talk about what we think on Tom. No, I'm kidding. No, this is a joke. I'm not doing that, guys. Yeah, for me, the last verse here: those who lend money without charging interest and who cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent. Like that. In the end goal, what's the thing that you're doing this with, right? We went from kind of internal assessment of how we view ourselves here to then refuse to gossip neighbors and friends. So we're going more to the outskirts into our connections with other people and how we just kind of respond. Then our response to evil around us, so to speak, or bad things like flagrant sinners. Like we don't like the sin. We don't like that situation, but we honor the faithful followers and keep their promises, who keep their promises even when it hurts. Like the reminder of that example, the reminder of sitting in that example and needing that lead of that. And so when we're looking at now those who lend money without charging interest and cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent, you are actually proactively working on, are you a blessing or are you potentially creating a curse?
Yeah.
And ownership even. So one thing, and I'll say this, some of you maybe don't like Dave Ramsey. I like Dave Ramsey because he brought up something that I've seen more and more in handling money as an adult. The borrower is slave to the lender.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, yeah, but like there's some good people that like will let you borrow money. No, I'm not. I'm not.
No,
talking,
I was going
I'm
straight
not
to
talking
banks.
about banks right now. We don't go there. But like, there are good people that will lend money, but you do feel enslaved. Because now you got something that you got to figure out, either like the time frame that you have to pay that back, which maybe some of them, there's that condition, right? The borrower, you're getting that back to them some way, some form, and stuff like that. And it really creates a different dynamic in the relationship, in the bond that you have. Mm-hmm. That there's an anxiety that can happen. There's a, oh shoot, now like any decision that I make is kind of veiled with a, I better make the right one that they would agree with. Otherwise, they're going to be like, why did I give you that money? Why did I help you out?
Blackmail!
Like well, not blackmail, though in this case it's bribe, so, you know. But when we look at God, yeah, I'm gonna go there. When we look at God, we've been given the biggest grace is as far as debt-free to sin, debt-free to things that legitimately should be held over our head.
Death.
Well, screw up, stupidity, you name it, like decisions that, whether we say it's accidental or very much intentional in some cases, like legit, we should be on the hook, and yet God forgives that. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't go, so I'm going to take care of this and you owe me. He like, forgives it.
I'll take care of it. Don't talk about it. It's gone.
Yeah, in all honesty. Like, okay, this is where I sit with the other thief on the cross, right? Because the guy was being punished for what legitimately something wrong he did.
Wait, which thief?
The one who like looked at Jesus and said, "Don't you fear God? This is the one. Like this is the Messiah.
The
Will you take me to paradise when you go to paradise?"
You said the other thief, so I was like, "Is he talking about the one?"
No. I'm not talking about the one who trash talked Jesus.
I was like, hold on a second.
Not promoting trash talking Jesus here. Just saying. But what I'm talking about is that thief who looked at Jesus and said, "Jesus, will you remember me when you come into your kingdom?"
He's like, "You'll be there with me when I go."
Like, this is a guy who's seeing literally death hanging on a cross.
Oh,
like, Jesus looked
brutal. Yeah.
Well, no. Like, Jesus is a breath away from death. Like, legit. He's filleted open.
Yeah.
And he still has hope that Jesus is going to still win the day. Mm-hmm. Like, that to me is like, bet the wrong horse, dude.
He got the
you are on the cross. Who's going to help?
The universe.
Well, but he didn't have the luckiest save. He legitimately looks at Jesus and goes, "Shoot, guys, like I need to make this right. Like I need to do this right."
I find that connected to a lot of people when they're in pain in the hospitals and stuff like that.
Right. Well, and he doesn't even make it contractual. Like, Jesus doesn't make it contractual. He goes, "Dude, you'll be with me today in paradise."
Yeah.
Didn't have to be like, "Well, you know, dude, if you say so many things, if you do a backflip here, if you help 15 people before you
off the cross, get baptized."
Yeah, like, do all these steps and like, legitimately, Jesus is able to look at his heart and goes, "Dude, like, you're real. Like, yeah, it's taken care of."
That's where I also found it that connected to the Roman. who came to Jesus.
Right. Who then sees Jesus and goes, surely this is the Son of God. Like,
Yeah, and asked for one of his sons.
oh, okay, so you're
That
talking
one.
way before.
Yes,
So, like,
yes.
when he's like, dude, all you have to say is the word and it's done.
Yeah.
And even Jesus is like, no one's got greater faith than this dude.
Yeah.
Like, nobody.
He was like, he has
Nada.
better faith than all my disciples right now.
Than everyone in Jerusalem,
Yeah.
for Pete's sake. And it's just like, whoo. But no, I get that. But Jesus didn't tell him, okay, well, like, but you're going to owe me back,
Yeah.
right? We're going to
It's
figure
like,
this.
no, he'll
He's
just be with
literally on death's door. How is he going to pay that back? He's not. So when God looks at finishing debts, it's just done.
Yeah.
It's not a, well, I do this, you better work it for me. Even though there's different instances like Hannah and Samuel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hannah is begging for God to just, can I have this kid? If I do, I will dedicate him to you. Like, that's a hard thing, because then it's like, that's transactional. Do I think God would have been willing to meet her and just be like, look, that's your son? But no, he had a plan for Samuel. So that worked, but she still came and visited. She still was able to invest in her son throughout it. It wasn't like, oh, well, he's mine and you don't ever get to see him. She still got that blessing. She still got to see how Samuel became one of the best known prophets, like, period. To the point he had 2 kings under his name and, like, really course corrected stuff, like, had a heart for God. Like, that would have been like, frick, that's awesome. Like, that's just sick. But I guess my point is on this, and sitting on that, you know, do we hold things over other people? Like, are we so transactional over everybody and things?
Nowadays, yes.
Yeah, well, and I get it, because it's a survivability mentality, and I get it. And sometimes you do need to learn the lesson that you can't just keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, or just like having these handouts all the time. Mm-hmm. There's some hard lessons, and maybe sometimes that hard lesson is you just don't get anything, and that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But I do think those who lend money without charging interest, and who cannot be bribed to lie about the innocent, such people will stand firm forever. I think the reason why they stand firm forever is they're looking at the key principalities, or not principalities, we're not talking about spiritual beings right now. They're observing spiritual beings. No, key principles of what's in the law. And the law is, we're not here to make more slaves. We're not here to oppress more people. We, like, literally the Israelite people were saved from slavery. So why would we go back to that? And why would we go to forcing that on other people when we know we wouldn't want that on ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Why not err on the side of grace? Why not err on the opportunity to help somebody else out? Because we know if we were in that situation, we would want that kind of help. And that's Jesus, right? That's an honest Jesus mode, thought.
A mood?
Mood. Yes. You can have a mood about blessing people. You can. I really do think that.
Take my blessing!
Take my love! But, like, in all honesty, like, that's a good one to chew on. And that's the last one to hit. So really, okay, I have a concluding thought, but in summary of all of that, and like reading through that, what's the big hit for you on this one?
You first.
He's gonna piggyback off of mine. That's what's gonna happen, guys. He's gonna be like, oh, well, yeah, that's what I thought all along. Yeah.
We'll see.
So we go from the idea of trying to be in the presence of God. So that's the one thing that we should have a hunger for that. But then there's a preparation for that. And not to be like we're perfect, but to realize what are the ways that I am engaging with people around me. Because even when I come to the presence and it's me and God, my connection and how I invest in other people still affects that. And so what it tells me, going from the inner thought to the outer extent of where things are at, how am I extending the grace that I'm hoping to have in the sanctuary? How am I extending that grace and mimicking the very effect of how God,
How
when
I
I
want to
when I
feel when I'm in God's presence.
right, like I go from this close me and God interaction, which is like the thing that we try and always encourage on Sunday. You and God can meet here. You and God to do this. It's like, okay, that's great that you and God have a moment, but then what are you doing with that moment? Are you
But
is
also,
it echoing
you can
past
have
it?
moments elsewhere. Doesn't have to be in the church.
Right. Well, and what does Jesus say? Like when we feed those who are hungry, we clothe those who are naked, we visit the people who are in jail. That's where he is. You're meeting God in how you are treating other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm expecting God to give me grace, or if I'm expecting God to meet with me, I need to first be investing in loving on other people. Not out of obligation, not out of contract or stuff like that, but because that's where I am going to see God.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm going to be able to actually experience what the hand of God can do, because I got to partner with God on that.
It's our free will to want to choose God.
Yo, that's good. Okay, that was my takeaway, and then like you just commented, what was your takeaway?
I actually.
You're like, oh, that's everything
But
that you
no,
said.
you were only talking about
called
the,
it,
the
guys.
first part. You were only talking about the first bit.
I kind of covered all of it.
You did, but it was mostly the first bit.
Yeah, it's true.
And I actually had no problems with the first bit. I fully agreed.
Mm.
And there was, you basically said everything on the first bit.
Yeah, it's true. So you got nothing.
For the first bit.
Friggin' guy, I told you guys this
For
is
the
how it was
first
gonna
bit.
go. This is falling.
Yeah,
I'm afraid
on
it's
you.
gonna like smack you or something. Just really wanted to put my arm around him. That's really what's going on here. Wanted some semi snuggles. No, but so guys, like an honest challenge on this. We've talked at different times on how we're trying to meet with God, and how are we looking to do that. Are you first working on the promises, right? Because knowing the promises, then you can talk to God when you are in those situations and go, God, I need you to meet me here. God, it says in your word that you're going to do this. I need you to be here at that point because you're faithful and stuff. Yo, throw it down.
So a while back,
Oh,
probably a year or two now, a year ago probably, one of my friends really wanted something for a game. But, of course, as a college student, you're broke.
You're broke. Yeah.
So one of my friends offered up to pay for something for the game. And I was saying, okay, I'll pay you back in this amount of time. Don't worry, I'll give you your money.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, just take your time. Take all the time you need. But I was still broke by the time we got to the time. And I was like, no, I'm going to pay you back even if it hurts my bank account.
Dang.
Because I made a promise and I'm not going back on my word. So I paid him back in full.
Nice.
And didn't have that much money, but luckily I'm living at home, so I don't have to pay for too much stuff.
Coffee was about to go through your nose. That's not good.
So I find that if you pay back your debtors and they don't ask for interest and you made the promise, then I don't see a problem with that overall.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because that was a mutual thing you agreed on.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't something that they're like, oh, if you don't pay me back in this amount of time, I'm going to increase it. They're like, oh, just pay me back whenever you can.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point. So the challenge, guys, I think really is, how are you demonstrating what you expect out of meeting with God? And how are you demonstrating that in everything that you're doing and in your interaction with other people? your interaction with God, right? Because you want God to give you grace, so then we're supposed to give grace.
How are you
right?
showing God?
Yeah, how are you showing God? And if you feel like you're unworthy to meet in a physical sanctuary, some of you may be afraid that, God is going to...
Smite you.
Yes, legit.
Because there are a lot of people with that fear.
There are. Because we can realize we're very broken people. And I get that. Oh, I get that.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people get that.
However, I will say there are just really cool God moments that can happen when you take the time engaging with people around you and earnestly just like going, hey, like, how can I help? How can I connect? How can I invest in you and do this? Because when you do that, you're actually interacting with God in that way because you're doing the work of God. In that
How
way.
can I help? How can I connect the way Jesus would?
Yes, man.
I find that one of the biggest questions a lot of Christians should ask,
Oh, 100%.
but a lot of people don't.
No, because it means you have to do work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
And a lot of people don't like doing the work.
Do the work. You heard it from Tom here. Do the work.
Yeah.
Do the hard thing. But and I appreciate that. They stand firm, right? When they do the hard thing, keep their promise even when it hurts.
But even if it is hard, though, it's meant to help people.
Solomon.
So a lot of hard things can be good, because if it's hard and it's helping someone, it could have helped save their life. You never know.
You have no idea.
No.
And there are some people that even think, oh, well, if I even just give this a little bit, it's not going to make a difference. As a guy who's had those things happen for him,
It does.
you have no clue. No clue. That's not an ask to give, but that's an honest, like, when you feel a tug to do something, do it.
Don't hold back.
Worst case, it doesn't end up being amazing. That's the worst case. Best case, someone goes, holy flip, God showed up when I needed. And you're like, dang, I was only doing a little bit. This is where I've appreciated The Chosen. They've created now their own studio company. It's 52 Studio,
Yep.
which is off of 5 Loaves, 2 Fish. And that's been like Dallas Jenkins's like whole thing has been like, I just bring what I've got and let God do the rest. Like it's that ridiculously simple and yet that hard.
One thing I loved from an interview from the actor,
We're getting real
Jesus,
here, guys. You getting the bonus
the
feature.
guy who does the acting for Jesus. The interview asked him if you could sit down and ask Jesus a question, what would you say, or what would you ask? And all he said was, "Did I get close?"
Yo. Yep.
He was basically saying, "Did I get close to showing how you would have lived
Yeah.
through this?"
Oh, I'd raise that bar a little bit more.
Go ahead. Mason.
Oh, okay. So, Jonathan, if you ever watch this, which, by the way, Hokey Dinah, that'd be sick. If you guys reach out to Jonathan and share this, I might cry a little.
We love your acting. We love how you
we
portray
do.
Jesus.
But I, Jonathan, can I raise the bar a little bit?
I think that's what he said.
I want to raise the bar a little bit, and maybe you can correct his misquote if that's the case. Instead of, did I get close, as in like acting
I think he
and
was
portraying
also
it,
mean.
I would be like, geez, do I look like you now? That would be the thing I'd want to be asking, because that's the whole premise of us being sanctified, being worked on, leveling up in our faith, right?
I'm gonna find
That.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
he's gonna double check because if you send this to
I don't want to be wrong.
he doesn't want to get told off. But that's a legitimate thing. I would want to push it to be like, no, just simply ask, Jesus, do I look more like you? Not, did I get close? Do I look more like you than I did at the start? I don't want to be close. I want to look like Jesus. the very idea of being called Christian is a little Christ, right? And when I want people to look at me, I don't want to look at Mike Wilson, epic beard, and whatever. Though I like that. Really, Jesus had a beard, so, that's what I'm trying to get close. No, I'm kidding. But to honestly sit and ask that question of, do I look more and more like Jesus? Is graphic words something that Jesus would legitimately be jumping at and doing? Is this a method that Jesus would totally go for? To share God, to bring people closer to him, and to have a relationship with him.
Do you want me to play it?
No, just what did he say? What did he say? He's seriously assessing, guys. Seriously assessing.
How did I do? Did I get it close?
How did I do? Did I get it close?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, that's just what I'd say. Instead of the acting bit, just honestly,
But it could have also been him saying,
it could
did
be.
I get close to my life?
But that's what I would change on that. I would be like, Jesus, do I look more like you? That's what I'd say. Anywho, I'm going to pray. Do you got any prayer requests?
Just the prayer requests in our server. There's a lot of them.
There's a ton of them. Yeah, so guys, if you're part of our Discord community or you have not gotten into it,
send the link.
Solomon, throw it down because you're awesome and you do that. You can totally join in on that. But there we have prayer requests board under prayer support. And we'd love to be praying for you. Legitimately, when you see that little emoji with, the cross and wings, essentially mercy, wing vibes, stuff like that, your healer has, or your support has arrived. There we go. My brain is somewhat functioning. Thank you, Solomon, for throwing the link in there. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'll throw that link in the comment section, actually in the title section, so then you can do that. And you'll always have access to jump into it. But we do pray for those things, and we do follow up with people on their prayer requests and what they're going on and how they're facing things. It's a community. That's what we're supposed to do. And so be sure to do that. Me, Tom, a few others really sit on that. Solomon is one of our prayer support peeps and just praying for people, which again, thank you for that, Solomon. All right, then fine. I'm going to pray. I'm going to hit this hard. God, I thank you for this passage on just, David wrestling with what's the criteria to even be able to be in your presence, for us to even get close to you. And what I really appreciate, God, is that the more and more we sat throughout this passage, the more and more we can engage with you in how we engage with other people. Not that there's a God inside each and every one of us. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying by the way that we show love to one another and can encourage and support one another, not offering words of hate or malice, not ones that look for us to get ahead, but genuinely looking to just show compassion and mercy.
See us live through Christ.
Yeah. Just live through Christ. Honestly, that's us meeting with you. That's us looking like you. Thank you that you put up with these imperfect vessels by any means. We're cracked, we're busted, but that means just more of your light shines through. And so God, honestly, in that, help us to do that. Help us to be investing in each other as family members in faith, but also people around us who don't know you, and just honestly loving, being around, encouraging, asking good questions, honest questions, and just meeting people where they're at, just like you did. But help us to also point them to you. Help us to point to how we've been helped, how we've been saved. Because we all need saving. There's no way for us to actually meet with you in person without you taking away all this stuff so that we can be with you. God, I just pray for a lot of people that are having a lot of ailments, a lot of sickness, a a lot of struggles. God, I pray that you would be meeting with them, that your voice would be clear in speaking and affirming them and encouraging them. Meet them where they're at. Take care of the needs that they have. Bring healing to their hearts, to their minds. God, it would be awesome. Healing for their bodies. God, help us to be faithful and to, when we have these tugs to do something, that we do it. We wouldn't be afraid. We just step out and go for it. Because we know they're tugs from you. We can be your hands and we can be your feet. God, just be with us as we peace out from here. Help us to honor you in everything that we do. Demonstrate you in all that we do. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, there it is, crew. We are definitely overtime.
14 minutes.
Wow. Serious? Holy snap.
Well, we did start late. So.
We did start late. That was also a fun fact for Tom. Did you know that Saint Eligius is the patron saint of horses and cattle? And is also the patron saint of goldsmiths, blacksmiths, and metalworks in general.
Nice.
Yo, that's actually kind of cool.
It is. The first part was okay.
Yeah, the first was like, I as soon as I read it, I'm like,
Yeah.
There.
Second part got me.
Second part, totally. Like, so
all right. My stream is.
He's going to be starting his stream
45
in
minutes.
45 minutes. So yes, as a special feature with Tom being on Reading Week and stuff like that, he is going to be doing his stream at noon. I will be out for a majority of that stream because I need to pick up groceries. In the midst of prayer requests, please be praying for Coach. She has been hit pretty hard with not feeling well. It's not been cool, and we still have the celebration in life that we are planning to go to and working on, but pray that Coach will be feeling better, not for the sake of peace in our home per se, we figured that out, but more so that she'll be feeling better so that she can say goodbye to her grandma. And so yeah, please be praying for her and for her side of the family, the Robert Shaw family. Love on them and pray for them too in this grieving process leading up to it. Again, thank you for joining in. Tune in at noon today for Tom's special stream, gaming stream. And Lord willing, we should be on tomorrow. I don't know whether we're going to be here in the office or we might be at home. Depends on how things go. But yes, please check it out. It's a good time. Tom, do you have
a? I don't know what he said, but check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
I don't know why I got so aggressive, but I did. And holy snap, I'm sweaty. That's gross.
Well, we were this close. The
Sweaty
whole time.
knees, weak
My
arms are
body
heavy.
heat getting off.
It's true. It's true. Anywho, guys, I'm gonna need you to get to the mouse. Otherwise, it's gonna be me climbing over everything. It's gonna. He just laughed. And remember to get sleep. Viva la horses.
I will find you.
Wow.
I will read you the Bible. He thought I was gonna go somewhere else.
Yo, he's got a sword, legit. Anywho, guys, hope you have an awesome day. Take it easy.